Hey guys, welcome back to what I'll call episode 2 of the series of videos where we tackle top topics. That was a tough one, top topics of the RV industry or our personal RV endeavors. And today we're going to tackle why did we get an RV? And we'll give you 3 main points and then we'll close it out for you. So what is number 1?
Probably the top of our list was that a lot of people talk about RVing in the future, and it's something they want to do when they retire, and they have this beautiful vision about driving the countryside and retirement and just living the life. But the reality is that, one, we may not all make it to retirement, right? I mean, you hate to think of it that way, but who knows how long we're put here on this earth.
Well, the retirement age is getting higher and higher now.
Is.
So for our generation, it's what, 67 now? 65 if you're lucky?
Depends on what field you're in, but I mean, I'm a teacher, and even one of the big benefits about being a teacher was you got to retire early, but even being a teacher and educator now, the retirement age is just increasing.
Yeah, but I mean, you're retired and I'm not, so.
Right. I couldn't drive a rig without you, so.
Well, you could, but.
I would be dying of anxiety the whole time.
So.
But, that is one thing, is the retirement age is increasing, and like I said, you don't know if you're even going to live to retirement, and if you do and you're lucky enough, you don't know what your health is going to be like.
Yeah, it's such an unknown because, I mean, let's face it, I'm 31, she just got into her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between our health now and then double our age later? Most
Yeah,
likely,
I mean,
we're in a lot more physical form than we are now.
We already travel with Ben Gay on our rig.
Thank you for letting everybody know that.
We do.
Old man at 31.
But I mean, a lot of these beautiful national parks and state parks and all the things we want to see, you have to, not be physically fit necessarily, but you have to have walking stamina and,
Well, that's an interesting point, actually. So let's take one of our trips as an example. So in the video after this one, we'll release the Gila Cliff Dwellings. So there was a lot of hiking. It's in the, ravines of, the mountains. It's like cliffside kind of dwellings from thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. Anyway, so there's a lot of hiking, a lot of climbing. There's some ladders that you have to do, and while you don't necessarily have to be really physically fit, you have to be mobile. And
Absolutely.
at 67 to 70, whenever we retire, what is that going to be for us? Are we going to be able to do stuff like that? But what we do know is that right now, we can.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, why not just do it now?
Exactly. Why not do it now? I mean, we can't take the 2 and 3 month long treks that we could if we were retired, but we can fit in, 2-week trips every summer or, when we can.
Or weekend trips.
Or weekend trips. But I think definitely the top of our list of why, because we get asked that all the time. Why did y'all get an RV? Is because we didn't want to wait. There's so much to see here in the United States that we wanted to be able to see it now and not wait until we're retired, because who knows what the future
Yeah,
holds.
and if we start now, stuff is only getting more expensive, and it'll probably continue to do so unless there's some major world change. But, if we start now, then that gives us 30, 40, 50 years to see the stuff that we want to.
Right.
Whereas, to your point earlier, you wait till you're retired. You don't know how much time you're going to have left or how much time you're going to have.
Or the quality of life you're going to have. I mean, are you going to be mobile? Are you going to get some kind of illness? You don't know. I mean, so why not live in the moment now? And as long as you can do it, financially, go for it.
Yep, that's right. So point number 2 is, I think, it's a different way to see the countryside. What I mean by that is I think people nowadays are so focused on their destination that they forget what's in between. So let's take us, for example. So we'll put ourselves on the chopping block here. When we first got married, or even before, the kind of trips we were doing was cruising and flying, basically. So cruising, I guess you have in between, if you count the water, I guess. But the thing with seeing the countryside, and it's kind of an older mentality, is it's not just the destination, it's the people and the places you get to see that you may or may not have even known existed in between from your starting point to your destination.
And you also make a lot of memories. Like, there are things that I remember from our trips, like when we were driving through, I think, New Mexico, and it was like that terrible dust storm.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many memories that you make along the way. And I think if you are someone who travels with like a family and kids, like that's part of the fun, is like making the memories.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different small towns and people that we would never have met if we just hopped in an airplane and went there. That being said, you know, you don't want the RV to be your only tool in your tool bag, but you know, for us, those in betweens were kind of what made a lot of the memories on our trips.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The third reason we kind of got into this is because of family. His parents have an RV. In fact, we started looking for RVs several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we really kind of got them into looking, and then they ended up purchasing one before we did. But we always thought it would be fun if we could travel together. My brother has an RV as well. And so we thought this would be a fun way to travel with your family.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's face it, we mentioned in our last video, we did that trip to Disney that we already talked about, and their trip with my parents after they got theirs, just to make sure that was the one that, or at least the type that we wanted, and it was. And so we thought, hey, what better way to see our family, spend time with our families? If they're going to be doing it, why don't we do it too?
And it's an easier way to travel. You know, I have 2 young-ish nephews, and you know, they travel well in their RV, and then your parents have their dogs that are their children, and they travel with their dogs, and it's,
well, what better way to bond than like a campfire and sometimes some wine.
a lot of wine.
Yeah.
But I think as we're getting older, you know, we're cherishing more that time with our family and our parents. You know, I lost my dad, you know, this past year, and I think that, you know, spending time with family is definitely becoming way more valuable than we were when we were, say, teenagers and we were trying to lock ourselves in our room from our parents.
Oh, I would never do that.
We'll ask your mom.
Don't do that.
But, so those are our 3 main reasons we got into RVing. Now, like he mentioned earlier, this is not our only method of transportation and travel. People ask us that all the time. They're like, but y'all love cruising. You're never going to take a cruise again? Or, you know, y'all used to fly to NASCAR trips. So you're not doing that anymore? You're giving it up? And the answer is no, we're not giving it up. You know, we kind of talked about this before we bought an RV, and that was really strong on my mind. As I said, I still want to travel other ways. I want to fly somewhere, or I want to take a cruise.
When we were first getting our RV, we got a really good piece of advice that really stuck with us. You know, we watched tons of YouTube videos. We talked to tons of people about the whole RV thing, just like I'm sure if you're watching this, you're doing now. But that one piece of advice that stuck with us is make sure that RV doesn't become from a source of happiness to being a burden.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is an RV is going to be an investment, okay? Unless you're living in it, realistically, you're not going to be using it to make the note worth it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to get that, which was hard for me. But you just kind of have to get that out of your mind.
Right, and you can't, like she said, you can't make it your only way to travel, because then, like I said, that RV will become a burden to you, because then you feel obligated to use it. Think of it more like it's just a tool in your tool bag. You know, you can fly, you can cruise, you can even travel without your RV, just take your car.
There you go.
And an RV is just a different way to see the countryside and to see the things that you want to see.
Which I remember we made this like agreement that we were going to do a big trip every other summer in our RV, and then in the summer in between we were going to like cruise or like fly somewhere or something. So last year we took our big trip, and so this year was going to be the year that we were going to do something different. And we were both like, but we kind of want to take another road trip. Like, that's what we want to do. And we had our mind set on it, and then the whole Stella situation happened. So
Yeah, we lost our first RV.
we lost Stella. So, in fact, we're flying to Canada this summer, and
Yeah.
which will be fun.
Which is
'cause
probably a good idea, but I think both of us are.
we're a little we're excited to go to Canada because we've never been, but
It'd be beautiful, I'm sure.
we were really looking forward to taking another long road trip,
Yeah.
which, you know, it's in the future.
So you've heard the why for us,
Mm-hmm.
but just know that question is specific to you.
Yeah, you have to know your why.
The answer for that will be different for each of you, and it will change from each of you. So that's our why, and I hope that makes sense to you. It certainly makes sense to us. That's why we're in the RV
Well, I don't
world.
know that it always makes sense, but our whys change sometimes.
Yeah, but as long as it stays a positive why.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. We'll continue to do these videos as long as we keep receiving a positive.
Yeah, and definitely
Response?
we want to know your questions. Like, submit your questions in the comment section below.
Who knows? Your questions might become
Yeah.
the main topic.
Because sometimes we're like, what should we talk about? So you give us an idea of what you want to know from us, and you can leave the comments below on any of the social media platforms.
Yeah, and remember we do have a Facebook, so go find our Facebook page. I think it's at Texas Young Guns RV. Yep, and we'll make sure and have that on our videos or our main YouTube page. And we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.
Bye.